What's up, everybody? Dennis here, Analog Archives. All right, today I'm going to do a video on like overrated death metal and thrash metal records, to me, anyways, that I just never got into. Never really liked these records. Still don't. Just so you know, I listened to all these records again before I did this video. And then I'm going to talk about two records I've never really liked, but now I like them. So things can always change, and I always give records the benefit of the doubt. And some of these records I like. I just think they're usually people's favorite records by the bands, and to me, they're not their best records, in my opinion. And I never liked these records. Still don't. I just if these records come on, yeah, that's fine. I'll listen to them, but I'm not going to reach for these records much ever, if ever, honestly. And when I do, it's to see if I still like it or not like it, still don't like it. So, well, without further ado, let's get into it. This is what we're drinking here is a Widowmaker double IPA. I think this is like 10.4% from Redding, California. Picked this up on a little road trip I did a couple weeks ago. So, cheers, guys. Yep, it's good. Hmm. Fall River Brewing, Widowmaker. Pretty good. All right, so before we get into it, I don't want everybody getting fucking crazy in the comments like, you're insane. How do you not like this record? Taste is a thing that all people have, and I get it. These are classic records to a lot of people, so I'm not trying to fucking offend you. I don't want you you guys want to make a video, I'm sure there'll be records on there. I've been on streams where people like records way more than records I like. I get it. Um, and a lot of these I'll talk about a little bit why I don't like them or why it never clicked with me, or maybe it was just the time and place. And that's why I always try to go back to these records to see if, like, maybe, man, I was tripping. And sometimes I am. So, but right now, like I said, I've done these videos before, so some of these records are going to be the same, and then some of them will be different. So, um, but just so you guys, all you Pantera dudes, I'm not going to talk about Pantera. God forbid I talk about vulgar display of power. People get fucking bent in the comments. What? And I get it. Like, people, that's their first metal record they listen to. But yeah, that's dog shit. Come on, man. It's not even metal. What is that? Groove metal? But anyways, I mean, it is what it is. You guys can like whatever you want. I'm not hating on that shit that much. I mean, I get it. It is what it is. Anyways, so I got a bunch. These are all OG press, believe it or not. So I got these. I want to say I got almost all these when they came out. So the timeline is when these records came out, I was there and I bought them. So, when I first heard them, it wasn't like I had bought like three other records that came before or after these records. Pretty much this is just the timeline of me purchasing these records when they came out. So if it's their third record, then that's the third record I bought by the band. If it's their second record, it's a second record I bought by the band. So, and bands change, and when they change, they have different styles sometimes, and maybe I don't just not into that kind of style of music. So makes sense. All right, let's get started with an easy one, and a lot of people can agree with me on this one at least. I think, but it's probably their most famous record, At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul. Kind of a one-trick pony record. Once you heard one song on this record, you've kind of heard them all. And like I said, it's not horrible. It's just not something I'll reach for. There's nothing on here where I'm like, man, this is insane. And the singer with Thomas Lindbergh or Tomas, just his voice just grates on my nerves on this record. Um, the reason I pulled this record first is basically because I had got the Gardens of Grief 7-inch or 10-inch recently. I had already obviously had it, but I got the 10-inch and I'm like, man, this is good. And I'm like, what happened to that band? Like they went from being this kind of really morbid sounding death metal band to kind of a metalcore band, I guess, on this record. And it's not their fault. Like they came out with this first, but then all these metalcore bands started doing it and they all sounded like At the Gates. So big inspiration for a lot of those 90s or 2000 metalcore bands, I guess. But to me, like once you've heard the first song on this record, they all pretty much sound the same. Not a lot of different melodies and stuff. It kind of just goes through the motions. So if you like groovy, screechy vocals with like fucking melodic death metal mixed in, this one's for you. And I get it. A lot of people love this record. Really can't stand it. Honestly, I don't ever pull this record unless I'm trying to revisit it. Like I did the other day. I'm like, all right, maybe I missed something. No. And I like Red in the Sky too, but after that, I'd never really liked anything they did. So here's another band. Kind of super disappointed when I heard this record. Amorphis, Tales from a Thousand Lakes, or Tales from the Thousand Lakes. Uh, yeah, the keyboards on this, the weird vocal, like melodic type vocals they try to add in, and these like weird kind of Renaissance dun 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 dun, dun kind of like beat stuff is just rhythms are horrible. And I saw them live when they played uh on this tour, and I was there because I wanted to hear old Amorphis, and nah, they played like two songs off Carillion Isthmus, I think. Probably played Privilege of Evil, but they added keyboards and the keyboardist was just going insane and it was super loud in the mix. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan, man. I like the song Drowning Maid on this, but other than that, take it or leave it. If this comes on, it's fine. I'll deal with it, but yeah, this is their downfall to me. I just never really liked this record and still don't. I've tried over the years and I get it. A lot of people love this and like I said, everybody's going to love these records. Could be your favorite record. So, um yeah, not for me. Up next, Don't Kill Me, but I've never really liked this record. Morbid Angel Covenant. Yeah, just not again. Obviously, they put Angel of Disease. They always putting old songs on there. To me, Morbid Angel was Mike Browning. He wrote a lot of those old songs from back in the day with, including stuff on Altars. A lot of those songs are all Mike Browning stuff. So that's my jam with Morbid Angel. I like Blessed too, but David Vincent's a douche, man. And he was a douche on this record when I saw them live, um, telling people they couldn't take pictures and no cameras and no video and selling shirts for $30. It's just insane, dude. Thought he just thought he was a rock star. He still thinks he's a rock star. It's death metal, man. You're alienating your fans. You're never gonna. I get it. You're on Giant Records. You're never gonna be anything but some dude on a third-rate death metal band. Like, quit trying to act like you're something you're not, because it's just not gonna happen. But besides that, these songs are just kind of eh. They don't really do much for me. Um, I like Rapture. Like I said, I like a couple songs on here. They're not horrible. The songwriting's still there. It doesn't have that Browning like evilness to it. These are more just like main. This is like mainstream death metal, I guess. Like pretty much, if you're listening to death metal, you can kind of pick this up and be like, "Oh, I love this record." And I think for a lot of people, this is the first time they heard Morbid Angel. Angel, I'd already had all the demos and Abominations and Altars, so and Blessed, and I'm expecting like something on that caliber, and it's more commercialized and productions great. Production's awesome, but yeah, it's just not, just doesn't do it for me. Um, Not how I like my death metal. So Covenant. Try to listen to it again and again. It's okay. I'm not not gonna turn it off if someone's playing and be like, "Oh my god, this album sucks." But it's just like time and place again. Like it just hits a bad time for me, I guess, or a bad time in the scene when that came out. Like kind of death metal was dying because of that kind of shenanigans. Like death metal bands thinking they're bigger rock stars than they are, if that makes sense. I guess you had to be there. Um, Up next, another record that's super disappointing to me. Deicide Legion, really muddy production, and the songs again just it just doesn't have the same caliber as the first record. Not a bad record. Again, like I'm saying, these aren't records I'm like, oh my god, this fucking sucks. It's just never got into the songs. Never got into it. I've tried over and over with this record, years and years of trying with this. And I'll be like, okay, it's all right. But, compared to the first record, this is just not my jam, man. I don't know if I'm just not the biggest Deicide fan when it comes to really this or anything after this. I think I like the record after this better than this record. Um, and I like some of their stuff here and there, but I'm not going to go out and like, I think, what's the one with the Jesus under the sheet? I don't know what that one's called. I can't remember. Um, that one's pretty good. Like I said, I like their first like four records, and then I just kind of fell off the Deicide thing. It just got monotonous. But I mean, to their credit, they never really changed their style, so it just didn't have the songwriting that the first record had. And I get that that's more my wheelhouse because it's more thrashy. I think it's more death thrash. It just has more energy and punch to it, whereas this is more kind of again muddy production, very trying to be over the top evil, which is pretty cheesy, especially if you know like how Glenn Benton is. Like it all seems kind of showboaty, but it's okay record. Like I said, just nothing I really got into. Here's another one, man. God, this kind of pains me to put this record on here, but Napalm Death, Harmony Corruption. I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I just cannot get into this record. Um, Never really could. It's got some banger songs on it. Suffer the Children's one of their best songs they ever wrote, but I don't know, man. Without Lee and fucking fucking Bill Steer, it's just not Napalm Death. It's like they mixed in Terrorizer mixed with Benediction, and it just doesn't work for me. Barney's voice on this again, it just sounds like Benediction to me. Maybe because I heard Benediction first, so I'm just like, and I never really. The first Benediction album's just okay. I like their other stuff better than that. So, and then he went on to this, and I'm like, geez, man. I was such a Lee Dorian fan too on the first records. I mean, this just not doesn't have the energy those records have. Those are grindcore records. This is death metal. Let's face it. No matter how much you want to call this grindcore, it's not grindcore. So yeah, it's okay once in a while, but never could get into this. Here's another one people always talk about. They remember I always talk about this record for some reason, which is kind of funny. Cannibal Corpse, Tomb of the Mutilated. Not a fan. Hammer Smash Face is a banger of a song. But again, it just doesn't have a lot of memorable songs after that. It's like we started with the best song, and now the album's just going to kind of go the same way throughout the rest of the record. Kind of like the At the Gates. Once you heard the first song, there's nothing on this that just stands out. It's very, very shock value record, from the cover all the way to the fucking lyrics, and just kind of goofy in a way. Production's off. It's really messy sounding, and it came between two records I like a lot better. Um, so Yeah, Butchered at Birth, I believe, is way better than this record. Um, and it doesn't have to get as cheesy as this does. And the bleeding, obviously, they progressed a lot more on that record. Um, whereas this record just kind of falls in the middle as like the gross out record, right? Like this is like a 14-year-old's wet dream to wear this shirt or to show the other kids at school, like, look what I'm listening to, man. Look at this cover. Oh, so gross. I'm into this. I come blood, man. Yeah, but eh. So again, it's Cannibal Corpse. What do you expect? It's not like rocket science type shit. Here's one. Again, a record I never got into, and I always point this record out as just didn't do it for just not a record to follow Ride the Lightning, man. I wanted heavier, thrashier stuff, and what I got was more commercialized production with kind of goofier songs and Leper Messiah stuff. Just not fucking another 8-minute instrumental. Damage Incorporated sounds like fucking Strike of the Beast. Disposable Heroes is kind of goofy sounding. Battery's a good song. I like Battery, The Thing That Should Not Be, and Welcome Home Sanitarium. I like those three songs. Other than that, I can take it or leave it. Um, I get it. They had to progress from what they were doing, but going from me hearing Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, the demos, and then hearing this, it's just, I could tell the band was done. I was like, all right, we're not going to get, like, Metallica's never going back to those days, so probably just give it up. That's just my opinion. Again, like I said, these records progress in a way that I was progressing musically. So I wanted to hear faster, thrashier, death thrash stuff, Creator and fucking Pestilence and those type of things. Maybe not Pestilence when this came out, but definitely Creator, Destruction, Suicidal Tendencies, and then I get, this Master, Master. It's more like traditional melodic. I don't know. Just wasn't what I wanted to hear. Still not what I want to hear. I don't like the songwriting. I think the songs go on too long, and it just doesn't do it for me. Here's another one, man. You guys are gonna kill me. I get it. It's you can Death Leprosy again. Record that just kind of just doesn't do it for me, man. Um, it's got to be that it just doesn't have John Hand on it. It's a problem. No John Hand, no Death. Oh, probably no Chris Reefer, no Death. So, um, yeah, Leprosy. I just don't like the songs. Um, yeah, I don't know. Pull the Plug's an okay song. I like Open Casket. Like I said, it's not a bad record. I'm not saying, God, this record sucks. I just cannot get into it. Never could. I've tried and tried and tried over the years. I like Spiritual Healing better than this record. Um, I don't like the production. I don't like Rick Ross's guitar tone. There's too much weird melodic type of stuff on here, like that just it doesn't do it for me. It's not what I want to hear in my death metal. I don't want to hear these kind of bouncy rhythms. I guess that's where my taste in death metal is really dark. I like really dark sounding shit. And this is not dark sounding. It sounds more upbeat, especially with the different like rhythms and stuff. So it just doesn't do it for me. Yeah, I mean, like I said, not a bad record, just not something. I'm not a big Death fan. I don't like all that wanky shit that they did after Spiritual Healing. Um, just that again, I don't listen to music to hear technicalities. That's not why I listen to death metal. I don't want to hear these guys play 50 million scales and all these different rhythms. I just want to hear song structures and evil sounding shit. That's what I want out of my death metal and my black metal. I don't want to hear keyboards. I don't want to hear all that shit. Just give me straight up dark death, doom, death metal. That's the whole point of death metal. That's the whole fucking point why thrash failed, is they got too fucking goofy and mainstream. Like that's not the fucking point of death metal. For me anyways, and I get it. There's all these guitar nerds and drummers and all these musicians out there that just go gaga over that shit, which is fine. But to me, I just want to hear good songs. And to me, that record doesn't have a lot of great songs, but it's still decent. I'll still put it on every once in a while. All right. Megadeth, Rust in Peace. Again, another record that started off with Holy War. Started off with a fucking banger of a song, and then you get Hanger 18, You Not Too Much. Yeah, Take No Prisoners, not a great song. Five Magics is killer. Poison Was a Cure, Lucretia, no. Tornado of Souls, no. And then Polaris, Rust in Peace is okay, Ender, but not a solid record, man. Not from start to finish. I get it. There's a lot of wankery on this with Marty Friedman and Dave Mustaine going ape face, but just not. It's not what I want to hear. I'd rather I like other records. Right now, So Far So Good is probably my favorite by them, minus the cover song, even though it fits now. And the first record, those two I really like. I like Peace Cells, but it's not. I don't put that one on that much. Euthanasia is a cool record. Like I like Megadeth as a band, and I like this record. I just think it's very, very overrated compared to other stuff they have out. Whereas I think So Far So Good is massively underrated, and a lot heavier than this record. But like I said, it's got some bangers on it. But uh, I don't even know why I bought this vinyl. I saw it and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this record another chance. And so I bought the vinyl and I was like, I started listening to it and I'm like, it's just not doing it for me, man. Just not doing it. Like it never did it for me. But it's not a bad record. Oh, the King of Kings, man. The king of fucking sellouts. Anthrax, Among the Living. Basically a bunch of stolen SOD riffs on this record. Um, yeah. Joey Belladonna's voice. He tries to go over the top. He thinks he's fucking Steve Perry on half these songs and super goofy with the shorts. I've said it, I'll say it again. This is the downfall of thrash. Anthrax is a downfall of thrash metal, man. Like, that's not what thrash is about. It's not about wearing goofy shit and jumping around and who's the man. It's just not. Not. Good one. Anyways, yeah. Um, yeah, Indians, it's kind of cringy now. Among the Living. I Am the Law is a killer song. Mainly because I'm a big Judge Dredd fan, but I always like that song. I still like it. And I liked this record when it came out. It didn't hold up. Only lasted a little bit, and I was like, yeah, no, this album sucks. It didn't suck, but that's what I thought when I was a kid. But I just got into other stuff, and that record, I was really into SOD or SOD and MOD when I bought that record. So I liked a lot of the riffing on it. Always hated Joey Belladonna's voice, so it's just like just odd. It's very odd sounding the way he sings stuff sometimes. Very forced. But all right, that's all I got. Now I want to talk about a couple records I never liked, but now I kind of like them recently. So this one, Marty will be happy. Halloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part One. I like this record now. Fucking rips. I never liked this record. I never liked anything besides the EP, which I still is still my favorite. Um, but this record's cool, man. I was jamming this today. Got some killer songs on it. Very power metal, but yeah, maybe because I'm more into like older power metal now. This kind of hits the spot. So yeah, like this one now. And another one, just I don't know, man. I never liked the main track on this record, so kind of always just kind of tossed it aside. Overkill, Under the Influence. Hello from the Gutter. That song blows, dude. Still blows. But it's got some killer songs on here. Shred, Never Say Never, Mad Gone World, Drunken Wisdom, Head First. It's got some killer songs on it that and really good heavy production on it. So yeah, I fucked up by not listening to this record enough, but I wanted to talk about a couple records, at least have some positives. So you guys know I do like go back and re-listen to stuff. I don't just cut everything out. Um, so there you go. Let me know what you think. Make your own list. If you don't like my list, I get it. These are a bunch of classic records. I left a couple out that I've put in here before just because I didn't want to about them again. One of them's Carcass Heartwork. Just another record I just cannot listen to, man. I try and try with that record. It just never happens. So I kind of left that out because I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of listening to that record because a lot of the songs start out really good and they just go nowhere. They just go on and then end. And I'm coming from the guy that Reek and Symphonies are pretty much all I like from Carcass and the demo. I think the demo's really good. Um, Necrotism's a good record too, just not as good as those other two. But that's what I got. Let me know what you guys think. Want to do this video, just come check it out and talk about some records I think are pretty overrated. So cheers, guys, and let me know what your overrated records are. I'm sure you guys got a ton of them too. And I'm probably going to be like, what? That record rules. Which you can say in the comments. I get it. These are big records for a bunch of you guys. So totally get it. And you guys can say Reek sucks. I get it. Cheers, guys. Talk to you soon.